Hello, my name is Mr. Miller and I am the languages teacher at Tomaree High School, and I'm here to go over the course outline for Stage 6 French Beginners for 2025. Now, firstly, the most important thing that the person choosing this course has to understand is that the entire course is about them, about their personal lives, the people around them, their past hobbies, future aspects, any possible thing that a person can think about themselves. This is what this course is about, just being able to get those ideas out and put them into this targeted languages. Now, no assumed knowledge is required at all for this course. Even those of you that may have done it in year 7 or 8, it's going straight back to that stuff again, right back to the basics, just to help you understand how French works, building up those pieces to then get you into near fluent, at least, beginner French speakers. Now, by studying French, you're also going to get an understanding of how sentences are formed in both French and English. Personally, I did this course when I was in year 11, back in 2016. And from learning about just the key sections and sentence structures and grammar and punctuation in a foreign language, made me more in tune with my own language, just to help understand how my own language is formed. So if anyone has some struggles, even in English or history, any subject that requires you to write extensive pieces, French is definitely going to help you work on your own language as well. Now, in choosing this language, these are the 4 key areas that you are going to develop across the 2 years: speaking, listening, writing, and reading. Now, these are the 4 macro skills that you need to focus on. You can't learn a language just from simply speaking it, or listening, or writing, or reading it. You have to do pieces from all 4 of these. So you have to build up the confidence to be able to interact with someone in the French language. You have to be able to expand your understanding of the language to be able to listen to what they're saying and draw key ideas from it. You have to be able to write it, picking up on the tiniest little detail to make sure that it's a fluent sentence or paragraph, and being able to read a text to get the main ideas out of it, to understand what is being communicated to you in the French language and be able to translate it into English. Now, these are the goals in learning any language. So firstly, immersion, so being invited into that language, mainly from French culture, understanding more about France itself, its history, and just being able to immerse yourself in the language, surrounding yourself with the language. Exploring the language skills, as previously mentioned, the speaking, listening, reading, and writing of language. It's exploring those 4 macro skills just to enhance your understanding of the language and feel more confident in using it. Then, of course, challenging yourself to use it. It's not simply going to be like someone comes up and says, hey, say this for me. People struggle with that, trying to think of that one thing on the spot to mention. But it's more so about challenging yourself to overcome those barriers. If you struggle to communicate with people or build up that confidence to say whatever you're thinking or feeling, doing it in another language is a building block for that, being able to express yourself in a language that only certain people can hear. Then, of course, learning the vocabulary. So you can look up verbs, those doing words, you can look up pronouns, but you always need something to go with it. And that's where the most challenging part comes in a language, having that extra knowledge of particular words that can create the rest of that sentence. And lastly, the confidence, being able to just confidently say that you can do it, that you're able to just go for it, randomly start speaking languages, spontaneously coming up with ideas and things that you want to express. So these are the goals, just trying to get you to feel more confident in speaking this language. Now, for the Year 11 topics, these are the 3 areas that are going to be covered. Your first one being self-introduction and your family life. So going all the way back to Year 7, being able to simply introduce yourself with je m'appelle and je suis, je parle, all those basic ones that just start off about yourself, being able to talk about yourself. Then being able to extend that knowledge onto the people around you, your family, being able to talk about your family, their lives, what they look like, what they can speak, etc. Next, you have daily routines and social arrangements. So that's where you will really begin to start using the French language, understanding how verbs work so you can form those coherent sentences. Like I said before, you need nouns to fill those sentences, but of course there's no point having a noun without a verb. What's happening? What's the doing word? What's the action? So that's going to be a key area to get you rolling, just basically in being able to create your own coherent sentences. Then last one, health, sickness, and preferences. So basically going over things that you prefer to do. So the type of things that you like to eat, how you feel personally, mentally, physically, socially, all those sort of topics that can be covered in that one unit. Now, at the bottom, that is what each assessment task is going to be worth in each of those topics. So of course, the first one is 30, then another 30, and then 40 to add up to 100% for the Year 11 preliminary course. Following Year 11, here are the 4 Year 12 topics. So to begin, it's going to be home and neighbourhood. So talking about your own home, discussing the features within it, using more adjectives to describe it. Again, extending that knowledge onto your family, being able to talk about them and their role in your household. And even the surrounding neighbourhood, such as using directions. So being able to give people advice. If someone asks where a certain place is, being able to tell them how far away it is, how to get there. Just those basic directions in English that you're going to put into French. After that, you have holidays, travel, and tourism. So being able to understand how widely spoken French is across the globe. Talk about where, well, the places that you want to go, the places that you have been, just all those local sites, obviously within Paris as well, or the rest of France as well. But it just comes down to that recreational topic, being able to talk about what you like to do in your spare time. Then the final topic prior to the HSC or the trial HSC is future plans and aspirations. So all those things that you're wanting to do, the things that you're going to do, the things that you will do, whether it's just family down the road or talking about moving to another country or your goals, your jobs, any possible thing that you could think of that you might want to do in the future, it's getting that language to be able to express those ideas. And then finally, there is the trial HSC. So that's unit is basically going to be going over all the key areas, the parts that people might struggle with the most, just trying to really get them wound together just so you can have a solid understanding of all those areas before you go into the trial HSC and then of course the actual HSC afterwards. And once again at the bottom there are the 4 percentage weights that all add up to 100%. 20 for home and neighbourhood, 25 for holidays, 25 for future plans, and then the trial HSC 30%. Now, when it comes to the actual HSC, there are actually 2 examination periods. The first one is the oral examination. So prior to the actual HSC examination, a speaking exam will take place in which students must engage in a 5-minute interview with a HSC examiner. It is not going to be someone from the school. It will either be someone coming to the school to examine the students or the students going to a school to be examined. But basically during that exam, once you enter the room and they start recording, they will ask you a set amount of questions and you'll be expected to have French responses to them. Not saying that you'll have prepared responses to take in, you're not allowed to take any written pieces of assistance in. It has to be purely whatever you can think up on the spot or remember if you've previously heard that question. Again, that's something that we will definitely work on over that time. I am actually a member of Alliance Française, which is a place in Newcastle with native French speakers who occasionally run HSC workshops. So that's where you'll have that chance to interact with a native French speaker to build up those skills. Then during the HSC examination period, there is the written exam, which will consist of 3 different text types: listening, reading, and writing, in which for the listening and reading section, students will be expected to understand the text and respond to a set of questions in English. Then there will be a written component at the end where students will be given a scenario or scenarios, and they will be given time to respond to that scenario or question using whatever knowledge they have of the French language. Now, for that examination, students are, of course, expected to have a dictionary to take in with them. You're not expected to remember the entire French alphabet, dictionary, the entire French language, but just have a basic understanding of it. What's like how you basically form the most simple sentences and take it that extra step further. That's basically it for the course outline. If you have any questions, there is my email at the bottom. But looking very forward to trying to get this course running and to have a Stage 6 French Beginners course. Merci beaucoup.